Time for the 49ers Rush Podcast. And here's your host, John Chapman.
What is going on, faithful? It is the day before the 49ers take on the Chargers. Depending on when you're watching this, we're live on YouTube as always. But if you're downloading this, maybe day of, that's okay too. What we want to do, and I love this added segment that we came up with this year. And shout out to my man Casey Lima, the producer and researcher for this draft, or for this episode. He does a hell of a job. And it's basically the top 5 49ers to watch heading into this matchup. And we already did our preview episode. We already did our scouting report. We did all those things. But what I want to focus on this episode is sometimes the not so obvious, right? Like you could say the quarterback, you could say Nick Bosa, you could say Fred Warner, you could say CFC, you could say those guys every time, and you wouldn't be wrong. But I'm not sure what value that brings to the community, right? And that's not what we're trying to do here. What we are trying to do is, one, get a win. What's up, Devin? Prayers and thoughts with you, man. Hopefully the family's doing all right, brother. And so, yeah, we want to get the win. That's huge. But also, what's our job here at the 49ers Rush Podcast? It's to enhance the fan experience and to educate so that you know what you're looking, what you're watching, what all these things are. And so that's what this is, right? That's what we're trying to do today. We're going to increase your fan experience. And whenever you walk away from today's episode, you are going to know right off the bat, these are the key matchups / players, not just the all-star players that everybody knows. These are the key players and matchups to watch during the game.
Number 5.
All right, at number 5, maybe not everybody's favorite player, and we even had John Lynch defending him on the radio, Mike McGlinchey, who I really like. However, he has never been able to fix the problem that he has with all of the big mistakes that he has continually, where he just has 1 to 2 drives that he just ruins single-handedly. It's very important for McGlinchey to play well this week. And again, you get into the analytics and how good of a run blocker he is, like John Lynch referenced. Let me paraphrase what John Lynch said on, I think it was KNBR. It basically said this. He's like, people share those bad plays of Mike McGlinchey. The problem is he's like a victim of social media because nobody shares the good plays. Well, if John Lynch subscribed to our Patreon, he would see the good and the bad. Maybe I'll send him a link. I'm sure he would enjoy our content. But let's be honest. Let's put it bluntly. He has struggled tremendously versus bull rush from smaller players. Well, who's he got this week? Khalil Mack. So I think that's very, very important. And so can he step up? Now, the good news is, I don't want to say good news. I don't like the way I phrase that. Joey Bosa is not playing. And so from a 49ers standpoint, it's great that you don't have to face 2 premier pass rushers. You just got to face one. I wish Joey Bosa was playing. I hate that he's injured. I don't want any player to ever get injured, but it's what it is. However, this, LA Chargers defense, it's not good, but they do have 8 sacks in the last 3 games. And so this is one of those areas that just scares me. Really does scare me. McGlinchey's matchup this week, it's going to determine the game. I think there's 2 key things. Again, if you listen to our scouting report episode, you can't let Mike McGlinchey and turnovers happen. You can let one happen and still win. Can't let both happen. If McGlinchey just has an average game where he doesn't give up 2+ sacks or a strip fumble or, something along those lines, then you're just fine. You're going to win this game because you're the better team. I really do believe that. Tommy, appreciate the gift, man. He says, will we stop the run? Consistency is key. I do think the 49ers will continue to be a very good run defender. They still haven't allowed a 100-yard rusher, to my knowledge. I could be off on that. But, they're pretty damn good against the run, even with being susceptible up the middle. That is the issue of this team, and that's because of injuries, obviously. But the fact that we're going to detail this a little bit later, the linebackers we're going to talk some more about, and I think that is key. Just let your linebackers be linebackers. This is not a power run game from the Chargers. This is not what we saw from the Falcons. It's not. It's not going to be. And so that's one of the things that I think is important. Dan, he says Mike McGlinchey took some accountability prior to last game, but did he look any more consistent? He did not. And like, I'll say this again. Mike McGlinchey is one of my favorite players ever behind a mic. He's incredible. You remember the Joe Show? We only got it for like 1 year, but Mike McGlinchey's incredible. I think he's got a very, very bright future, whether he wants to be in broadcasting or if he wants to be in coaching. He's smart, man. He's a smart cat and savvy dude. And I really like him. I really, really do. I hate his body language. And I hate how he's just so inconsistent. And so, you kind of take that for what you want, but like, I really like him. I really do. It's just the problem is from year 2, year 3, year 4, now we're in year 5, you have seen zero growth. Is his run blocking on point? Oh my gosh, yes, it always is. And that's incredible. But if you want to be a top flight right tackle in this league, which I do not think he is, I do think he's above average, right? So there's 32 right tackles in the NFL. I'd put him in that kind of 10 to 14 category. I see Mike McGlinchey as the Jimmy Garoppolo of quarterbacks. That is a compliment and insult all in one. I think it's a realistic view. And the fact that, guess what? It's above average play. Is he ever going to be, a top 3, top 2 tackle in this league? I don't think so. Run blocking, yes. But man, you bring those negative plays, it just kills offenses. It really, really does. And so that's what you got to get around. Jack, what's up, man? Thanks for the super chat. I really appreciate the generosity. Jack says, thanks for the daily content, John and crew. Man, you're welcome. And also thank you. How do I say this? I was on a lot of shows this week. Coming off the bye week, I had a little bit more energy. And so usually I have to decline a lot of shows just because I'm so exhausted. I got to get so many videos out and all that stuff. I'm very thankful for the community that we have here. And it's you guys for turning in. We're going live 8 times a week on average throughout this season. That's a lot. It's more than every day. And that's not even counting Patreon, which we're doing another 7 episodes over there. So, we're averaging 2 videos a week minimum all season long. And it makes me so happy. I'm very thankful for my job, which I see this is my career now. But I'm thankful for you guys. And it's the team effort. You're not wrong. And speaking of team effort, shout out to Eric, our social media manager over on Instagram. I'm not an Instagram guy. I'm bad at it, but I have employed somebody that's great at it. And Eric, we just hit 2,000 Instagram followers. He texted me this morning, which is awesome. I interact on there, but he runs the page, which we're communicating all day, every day, which is awesome. But he's great. So we're going to do an extra giveaway. And if you haven't checked out our Instagram yet, man, go check it out. 49ers Rush Podcast, Instagram. We're at 2,000. We're getting big time, baby. We're getting big time.
Number 4.
All right. Number 4, most important player to watch. And, it comes off the Jason Verrett thing, which he hasn't played. So it doesn't really affect it rationally, I guess. Practically, it doesn't because it's what it's been. But I'm going with Diamador Lenore. He's had a year. From if you go back to my 53-man roster projection, he was a bubble player for me. I had him below Ambry Thomas, below Samuel Womack, below. He's just fought his way to the top. You go back to when he was drafted and he compared himself to a hyena. Dude, it just nothing but just savage. His plays backed it up. Now, has he been a great outside corner? Has he played similar to Emmanuel Mosley? He has not. I think the best spot for him is to be in the slot. But that's, when the Mosley injury happened, now the Verrett injury happened, he's got to play outside. Like, Ambry Thomas has not shown it, and I don't want that. Samuel Womack showed he can play inside, not outside. It's important. And, again, the devastating Verrett news, that doesn't help. It means Diamador's going to be on the field starting for the rest of the year. That's not going to change. Now, the Chargers receiving group, yikes. Keenan Allen ruled out. I told you all week he wasn't going to play. Mike Williams ruled out. That one was never in question. So who's he got to deal with? DeAndre Carter? All right. Josh Palmer? Cool. Michael Bandy and Keelan Doss. Both of those last two, those are practice squad players that are now starting 3 and 4 wide receivers. Now they have a great quarterback, but I think Lenore is going to be in for a huge pivotal role, not only this game, but the rest of the year. I think it's important. I really do think that it's important. And, okay, what are the strengths? It's very easy to, you see a play and you'll be like, oh, Demo sucks. Okay, so what are his strengths? What are his weaknesses? Okay, strengths number one, physicality and tackling. Back to Tommy's question earlier, how do we stop the run? It's guys like Demo. That dude tackles with the best of any corners out there. No doubt about it. His length, he's got long arms, his versatility. He's a physical corner, doesn't have elite top tier speed, but it's good. He is in the shape. How do I say this? What the 49ers want out of a cornerback is to increase the difficult rating. I don't know, the difficulty of completing a pass. What do I mean by that? We're not going after pick six artists and gamblers. That's not what we want. They want zero separation and contested catches. If you get beat on that, so be it. Look at Ambry Thomas. Look at Jason Verrett. Look at Emmanuel Mosley. Look at Charvarius Ward. They're all the same. Give up a little separation. That's what we want. We don't have like the shuffle corners that are going for picks. That's not our design. It's to just stick to them like Velcro. And Demo does that. He really, really does. Now, in our scheme, do we struggle with in-breaking routes? You sure do. Why? Well, if you watch the film, we show you. We play outside leverage with no safety help over the top. So we tell our corners, look, if you get beat, you got to get beat to the inside because we got 3 linebackers or 2 linebackers and a safety sitting in the middle of the field. So we're going to congest it there. But again, if you get beat to the outside, you have no help. You get beat deep, you have no help. So we're going to line you up deep and outside. You can't get beat outside, can't get out. I mean, it's one of the most difficult jobs for a corner. And whenever you have somebody like Demo, well, guess what? He's probably should be a slot nickel guy because of injuries. Now he's starting outside. So you've got to see some of that. Yeah, Mark, Demo can blitz. He's physical, man. Again, hyena. You'll see me when he makes a play on Twitter. I'm typing in hyena. I don't know if I can spell it. I am from the South. I don't know how many E's there are. I'm gonna have to look that up. But having said all that, the dude's just a beast. Somebody spell hyena for me in the chat. Help me out. Let's take Chapman to school here. That's what's needed. Now, before we carry on, I do want to say we have some updates to our 49ers Rush road trip in Mexico, which I'm so pumped about, man. We're basically a week away. And so even though we're excited, we're focusing on the Chiefs, we've got to plan ahead a little bit. So our day before party in Mexico City, I'm so excited for this. And again, tickets, 49ersrushroadtrip.com. We're going to be at Kingpin Social from 12 to 4. And the idea was we wanted an earlier party just to be safe. So we're going to party there, then go back to the hotel and party there. That's the plan. Watch some football, all those things. We've got big screen TV set up at both. It's going to be absolutely incredible. We're going to have some bowling competitions. We've got trivia. We've got all kinds of stuff. That's the day before party in Mexico City. Now, that's 12 to 4 p.m. local time in Mexico. And we do not have charter buses for that event. However, day of the game, Monday, we got you all day, all freaking day. We're picking up at our hotel, the Marriott Reforma. And here's what's going to happen. We're picking up and then we're going to the party on chartered buses. All you got to do is get to the hotel. That's it. We're picking up at 1:30 at the hotel. We're going to Lomas Plaza. We've got the whole place rented out, unlimited drinks, unlimited food. We got TVs. We've got all kinds of stuff. We're partying for 3+ hours there. Then we're jumping back on the chartered buses and going together to the game. You don't have to pay for parking. You don't have to pay for transportation. We got you. You don't have to pay for drinks. Don't have to pay for food. This is an all-in-one package. Now, I will tell you this, prices are going to go up the next couple of days. So if you're one of those people that's like, oh, man, I need to check this out. And we're taking you back to the hotel chartered bus. So you're safe. That was so important. It would probably spend a little bit too much money on the buses, but for us, it's all about experience. It's something that you and your family can share together and have that there. So 49ersrushroadtrip.com. Go check those tickets out. And as always, just look for that flag. Wherever we go, we fly that bad boy with pride because it's about the experience.
Number 3.
All right, this one, me and Casey couldn't help ourselves. Deebo Samuel. Now, I said we're not going with always, the blue chip, whatever. Obvious. Oh, look at this. Everybody's helping me out. I don't think that's how you spell it. Hyena, no. Thank you, Shot J. But I love this. Oh, I like this, Dead Case. He spells hyena, Higgynah. I like that. Appreciate that very, very much. I love it. Hyena. Deebo Samuel. Um, we got him number 3, coming off the hamstring, sat out against the Rams, which had to just piss him off. You saw the CMC show without him. Now you got both, which is new. We have not had this, having both CMC and Deebo out there. I know that we saw it for 2 quarters against Kansas City, but that was without even a practice. This is new, and I'm so excited about this. And again, remember, Deebo is the Rams killer, right? Well, guess who is the defensive kind of design artist / head coach for the Rams? I mean, for the Chargers. Yeah, that's right. It's the Rams' old DC. This defense is designed for Deebo to have a big game because they're a shell zone defense that keeps everything underneath. Well, guess what? That's Deebo's specialty. Stop routes, in breaking routes, hooks, curls, all those things, screens. Get the ball in his hands. They've got that shell coverage over the top. Well, he defeats that through all the yards after catch and all those things. So, given the acquisition of McCaffrey, bringing back Ayuk, who's great, Kittle's healthy, all those things, Deebo is long overdue. Long overdue. He's been great, but he's overdue for one of those just jaw-dropping plays that, like we saw against the Rams the first time, where he just ran through Ramsey. I'm excited. I'm very, very excited. I really do think that Deebo is going to step out of his zone and just be one of those transcendent players this game. Now, I don't know the target share. I don't know the reception numbers. I don't know the rush attempts. I don't care. I do not care. I'm telling you right now, Deebo's going to have one of those plays. Don't know where it's coming from. That's why I'm not really betting really big on Deebo, because I don't know if it's going to be a rush attempt or a pass reception or whatever. I'm just telling you. I'm telling you. Deebo's going to do something magical. You can't contain him for that long. You really, really can't. And he's been good, but now that not all of the pressure is just on him, CMC alleviates that. I think CMC benefits George Kittle the most, but I'm excited about this. Now, if you haven't yet, and most of you guys have, we're up to about 400 strong over on Patreon. We put this video together just to kind of show you what we're all about. All you got to do is go to patreon.com/49ers Rush Podcast. And as soon as you sign up, you get almost everything, depending on the tier you pick. And if you're just interested in 49ers play, guess what? We have every single offensive, defensive, and special teams play from the last 2.5 years. Every single game for the 49ers. Nobody else has this content. Now, not to mention we have extra episodes weekly. We've got scouting report breakdowns. We've got betting. We've got your one-stop shop for 49ers content. And if you want to be heard, guess what? We got Zoom Hangouts twice a month where we listen to you. Patreon.com/49ers Rush Podcast, or just Google Patreon and 49ers. We're the first one that shows up.
Number 2.
Oh, man. Elijah Mitchell's back. I am so excited. It's very rare that you get a player that gets to fit into the exact perfect scheme in the exact perfect role. Here's what I mean by that. Elijah Mitchell has a particular set of skills. Channel my inner Liam Neeson monologue. I don't think that he's ever supposed to be the guy. I really, really don't. He is the number 2 changeup hitter that is a power, straight line, burst player that just gets chunks of 10 to 15 yards consistently. He doesn't get the 30 yards, the 40 yards. That's not really his MO. But whenever now he's the changeup, we've seen that he can be the guy. Health is always concerned, but he's back now. Kyle Shanahan said he's full go. He's back now. I really think Elijah Mitchell is just going to be, it's just that extra layer, right? It's just that little bit extra that just is going to change this offense. The amount of talented skill position players is just unreal with what you have on this team. And again, I don't know if this was John Lynch's plan that, hey, we're going to trade see it for CMC and then we're going to unload Jeff Wilson. I don't think that was ever really the plan. But, they said no to Miami several times. And then they're like, look, we're going to get a fifth or we're going to get nothing. We'll just keep them. Getting a fifth for your third string running back, that's insanity. Insanity. Miami overpaid. Now, that doesn't discount Jeff Wilson. The problem was just attrition because Jeff Wilson was the guy for a long time. Well, now you got Elijah Mitchell back. That bumped him to number 2. Then you trade for Christian McCaffrey. That bumped him to number 3. And you've got 2 young guys, TDP and Mason, behind him, just providing depth with upside. I'm excited about this, man. I really, really am. And, I'm upset because my bookie doesn't have any freaking Elijah Mitchell props. I'm telling you right now, I've got him going over 60 total yards. I really do think that Elijah Mitchell, who's kind of the forgotten guy, right? Which is why we have him at number 2 on our list. He's gonna pop off. He's got to have some just meaningful, like I could see him getting, I want him to get 10 total touches. That's what I want. I'm not sure he will, but I'm telling you, I could see this dude getting 8 touches for 5 first downs. You know what I mean? Something along those lines, and just seeing that take place. Shot Jay, he says this: do you think they'll still give CMC the bulk of the carries, close to 10 to 12 carries each, like in some other? Yes, I think that Christian McCaffrey will get 14 carries and 6 passing targets. That's my breakdown. 20. I want 20 and 10. 20 for McCaffrey, 10 for Elijah Mitchell. And I'm not so sold on they've got to be rush attempts or anything along those lines. That's not really what I'm into. I would prefer them to be rush attempts, but man, any single time that you throw the ball to Christian McCaffrey, it is just, this is what I'm going to be doing. I'm watching the game. Oh, checked out a Christian McCaffrey. It's a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, baby, which is like my favorite thing in the world to eat because it's simple, it's easy, you can't mess it up, and it always tastes like fire. Like it's so damn good. Peanut butter and jelly sandwich, like whatever they checked out of Christian McCaffrey, just relax, man. It's a decompressor. And so, yeah, the 20 touches, 20 and 10. If you put John Chapman on the coaching staff right now, right? And Shanahan leans over and says, all right, Chapman, what do we got to do for our offense to work? 20 and 10, coach. Peanut butter and jelly. Get it done. Just get it done. And so after first quarter, if we're behind, I'm telling them, coach, you're 2 touches behind on McCaffrey and 1 touch behind on Elijah Mitchell going into the second quarter. You need to amp up their touches. Halftime, hey, we're on pace, coach. Third quarter, hey, doesn't matter if we're behind, doesn't matter if we're up, doesn't matter if we're coming off a turnover, stay on key. 2010. 2010. 2010. That's all I would do. Hey, coach, 2010. I'd be on the headset. Hey, coach, 2010. That's all you got to do. Raya, I'm eating a peanut butter and honey sandwich right now. There we go. I like it. More like pancakes and syrup. All right. I like the food takes. I ain't mad with the food takes. So yeah, I expect Mitchell to go over 60 total yards, like 5 first downs. I think he's going to be really, really, really efficient in a limited role, right? And here's the best news about all this. This should be able to sustain his career and his health because you're not beating him into the ground. Limited, efficient. I like it. Now, up next, we've got some of our bets of the week, our honorable mention, and we're still waiting on our number 1 player. You know sports, and you pick winners all the time, so why not get paid for them at MyBookie? MyBookie has the biggest online selection of odds, contests for all your sporting and betting needs anytime, anywhere. You can bet on NFL, NCAA, or, this is pretty fun, I love this, you can bet for the fences buy on the all-new money bag. So what happens is it's a one-of-a-kind type of opportunity. You just place your bet, spin the wheel, and you get ready to score epic odds on teams, athletes, events, all those things. It just increases those. So it's like a bonus spin to give you even better payouts and better odds, better chances to win. All you got to do is sign up for free today. Use promo code 49ERS or scan the QR code next to me, and you can claim a deposit match of any amount up to $1,000. Again, that's promo code 49ERS to claim your deposit bonus. It's not just a sports book, it's a community. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. All right. Detailed some bets last episode. I'll throw another one out there. This is probably one of those, and the spread has gone up half a point. So now the 49ers are favored by more than a touchdown, 7.5 points. It's the amount of respect that they get. They just got to be consistent. But one of my favorite bets is Christian McCaffrey, longest reception over 14.5 yards. That one is by far one of my bets. If you want to jump into all our 2-team teasers, all of our player bets, all that, just posted on Patreon. Just posted it. Patreon.com/49ers Rush Podcast, or just Google 49ers Patreon. You can bet with us every single week. We're up on the year. We're up 4 years running. Hopefully we can continue that trend. The secret is Tony Gwynn. It's my betting philosophy. Base hits, money in the bank, baby. Now, honorable mention. Really just 3 players. Usually I want like 5 or 6 here, but I wanted, I hate that it's just like a top 5 because I think these are huge. Talanoa Hufanga started off defensive player of the year candidate the first month of the NFL season, struggled a little bit the last few weeks with missed tackles, pursuit angles, has not struggled getting beat deep with the ball though. Justin Herbert, I think this is another test because while his wide receivers aren't great, I want to see how Talanoa is going to do against a premier quarterback like Justin Herbert that just throws rockets. I want to see how that's going to play out. So Talanoa is somebody I want to watch. Can he get back to his elite playmaking ability? Yeah, he had the pick against the Chiefs, one of the rare few positive playmakers, on defense against the Chiefs game. But I want to see it. I want to see it. And then with Samson Ebukam, he's doubtful. I don't think he's going to play. There's no need to. You're bringing up Jordan Willis. Drake Jackson, the rookie, and Charles Omenihu. I think these two, I don't see it as a step down in potential, right? Between Samson. I think all 3 of those guys are kind of lumped together. They all have different strengths, right? Samson's probably the best against the run. Drake's the best pass rusher. Charles Omenihu is the best power player, leverage player, length player. Athleticism goes to Jackson. Strength, that's going to be Omenihu and Samson. So it's kind of a different flavor, right? Not necessarily a better flavor, just different, what you're in the mood for. But Drake Jackson, I want to see it. I want 30 snaps. If I could, again, I want 30 snaps for Drake, 30 snaps for Charles Omenihu. And Charles Omenihu is going to play some inside as well. So this should be the largest snap count that we have in Drake Jackson's rookie year. I want to see that. Big Papa John, any word on Ward's hand? Is it still in the club? No, he what's it called? Even that game, he didn't play in the club. He practiced with the club and then without it, and he chose to go without it. So he has not played any games with the club. He's got the partial cast on part of his hand to secure so the wrist doesn't move, right? That's the idea. But it's not listed on the injury report, so I think that's important. And shout out to West Virginia, who's driving against OU right now. Texas got a big game. Make sure you take care of business. Big game, Texas. Hook 'em, baby. I recorded this before the game, so if it gets bad, you guys get all DM me and talk trash. That's okay. But OU's losing, and that just makes me happy. Now, here we go. Number one. My wife does the countdown much better than I do. Shout out to the wifey. She's incredible. The voice of the 49ers Rush podcast. Number 1 player, and I had it changed. Casey, shout out to Casey, because, again, it was 2 players. Initially, it was Azeez Al-Shaair. I thought he was the most important player because I was not expecting Dre Greenlaw to play. He missed a couple practices, then was limited. Shanahan said he's full go. So I'm going Dre Greenlaw. But with the honorable mention to Azeez, there's no doubt what this Chargers defense is wanting, or offense is wanting to do. It's Austin Eckler. This dude's got 10 touchdowns. 10 touchdowns. And he had like no touchdowns after like 3 weeks. Like it's just been touchdown, 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 touchdown for him. With the wide receivers out, it's check down, check down. And so the number one matchup this game is going to be Dre Greenlaw and Azeez Al-Shire. Now, Fred Warner, he's going to be much more prominent against the tight ends, against the number 3 wide receiver in trips. You like to keep Fred Warner going deep downfield, which is traditionally the Will's passing responsibilities. He's just so damn good. So if Fred Warner's a hybrid because he's the Mike, captain the defense, calls the defense, but he lines up and plays the Will in passing situations. He plays the Mike in kind of running tendency plays, which leaves Azeez and Dre Greenlaw out in the flats against Austin Ekeler. Those little checkdowns, those little screens. Eckler's incredible, and he's going to get his. There's no doubt about that. But you got to limit those with sure tackling. Dre Greenlaw is one of the best tackling linebackers in the NFL. Azeez is one of the most explosive, hard-hitting linebackers, but he does miss sometimes. This is key. Eckler's going to get his catches. He's going to get his rush attempts, all those things. And his stat line by the end of the day, probably going to be close to like 90 total yards, 100 total yards. You can't let him get those yards after contact. You got to bring the little guy get down. I think that's so important. Everett coming back, Gerald Everett, their tight end, they're going to pepper him with targets. But again, I think that's more Warner. There will be some Greenlaw and some Azeez on him. But this is it. If I could have any player where it's like, okay, John Chapman, you get to pick one guy on defense to just totally ball out, I'm saying Dre Greenlaw this week. Because that would mean you're shutting down the tackling machine, Dre Greenlaw, shutting down or at least limiting Austin Ekeler, which without their wide receivers, that's what's important. That's what's important. And so I love it. Yeah, I did say Kittle. I'd say Kittle every week, Shot Jay. I really would. But you know, I'm trying to highlight those that maybe don't get all the love. Big Papa, all 3 linebackers, it's going to be fun to see. I missed it. And we only have this half year left to see it because they're all 3 not coming back. And so I think that's important. I really, really do. But this is fun. Again, shout out to Casey Lima. I freaking love it. He does a heck of a job. And, I've had a lot of people reach out to me asking for some last year. We did a couple hype videos before games, which were fun for me. They didn't get a lot of views and stuff, but I guess a lot of people liked it. But I've gotten about 5 or 6 people asked this week if I could start those back up. So tomorrow we'll get a show out early. We'll do maybe a hype video before kickoff, something like that. Now, afterwards, after the game, obviously we're going live right after the show's over, win, lose, or draw for our celebrate/therapy session. And then after that, we've got our Jerry Rice tier Zoom meeting, which is going to be fun. So where I get to hear from you. So we'll go live right after the game. Join us right here on YouTube. And then after that's over, give me 5 minutes to post the audio, and then we'll be live on Zoom. So that's there. And as we draw this show to conclusion, so does the West Virginia Mountaineers do to the Oklahoma Sooners. What a great day. Any day Oklahoma loses, it is a great day. So suck it, Sooners. Let's get them Longhorns, and let's get that win tomorrow, 49ers. I love it. Until next time, as always, stay strong, faithful.